Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to create a restaurant menu page just like this one using vanilla JavaScript, HTML and CSS. Before we start coding, let's take some time to plan our restaurant menu structure, decide on the categories, menu items and their corresponding prices. Here I have a couple of African menus with some fictive prices. So let's dive in. I already have my folder created with my basic HTML, which already has a head defining where we'll get our style sheet and the script files since we are going to be needing them. So next, let's move on to the body of our HTML where we actually define the structure. So we start with the head, or the header, sorry, where we'll define the title and have our search input. So we start with H1, restaurant menu. Next, we define our search input. So it's of type search, placeholder, search menu item, next we move to the main. And inside the main we have the first section with ID, say appetizers. Inside the section we have a URL since we don't really care about the order of the list. And then we have our various list items. So inside each list item now we have C and H3. We could just get one of these and see fruit salad. And the price was $5. Let's not forget to pass in a header here that says, we have an H2 here that says appetizers. Now if we save this and we preview, so we have these basics for our HTML. Now we have a couple of restaurant menus. So for the list for each menu, all we need to do is replicate all of this to have this, so we can see we can replicate this first list here, and we have that, and we pass in. So you see we already have the repetition. Oh, I missed out something. We have this, we already have the list repeated here, and we simply just have to change the content. Here it says vegetable salad. And we have that. So we can do the same thing for each and every section. And we have that. Next, let's add the styles to make the restaurant menu page look exactly like what we saw on the demo. So we do styles, styles.css. So as usual, we want to start with the body. So we have that. So we have our header looking like that with our HTML. Now let's start the main section itself. We have that, and we style each item within the main. So we have our basic structure all start up and looking exactly like what we have for various stuff. Now let's add some interactivity to our page and enable us to be able to search, which we can do right now. To do this, let's add some JavaScript to our code. So we start by creating our script file, script.js. So within our script file, the first thing we want to do is first get all the list items. So we have cons, menu items, so we do a document dot query selector. So in this case we want to get everything, so we are doing query selector for all the various list elements. So we'll do li since it is the list elements that we want to get. Next, we want to get our input field, which we use to search. So we do a cons filter input. So this has an ID and we'll be getting it from the ID since we want it to be unique at every point in time. Next, we want to get every search term the user types into this input field so we can return them the right result based on the list and what we have. But right now we can't achieve that. If we type, we don't get anything. So to get this, we do filter. We add an event listener to the filter input. Filter dot add event listener. And which events are we listening to is the input event, since we are dealing with the input field and we are not clicking input. Then we get the event. For each event, we want to get the actual value which the user is typing in. So to do that, we have like const search term, which is equal to event dot target dot value. But to search this value, we want to pass it, make sure that it is to a lower string. This is a method. So we have that. Next thing we want to do is we want to look through all the list items which we already have to make sure that this search term matches one of the names or prices that the user has searched, or anything that is within it. We could add description and all of that. So we have menu items dot for each item first we get the text from the heading, which is like the item name. So we use a query selector for this. You do item dot query selector. h3. We get the text content or the HTML content, which is in this case is text content, and then we make sure we lower it so we can match it with what we have up there. Now we have the search term and the item name. What we want to do next is to check if the search term is part of the item name or is equal to the item name. So we do if item name dot includes search term. If this is true, we want to display that item or want that item to stay on the page. But then we're using HTML to create a page structure, not JavaScript, so we cannot just return. In this case, we want to do that using the styles. So we'll do item dot styles, which is the style we already have, dot display. This should be equal to block. Else we want that display to be equal to none. We save, we go to our restaurant menu, we try to do some search, we do vegetable, and we have that. Say snails, we have that. Plantains, and we have that. So that is it. We have a restaurant menu created with vanilla JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and has some interactivity to it. User can filter and have the various results. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. For any questions or assistance, don't hesitate to reach out on the comment section. Happy coding.